you just think about like what we actually go through just by the time we're 25.
Right.
The weirdness that we go through just from the time we're 25 is just so strange. How crazy life can get. I mean, this is one giant roller coaster.
Mm, it sure is.
You know, you you experience. Your parent. You're born. First of all, that's a shocker. Didn't see that coming. Life.
Well, that's the thing.
You're,
That's what life is. If we knew what to expect, it would be boring. We don't know what to expect at all, and that is part of the greatness of life. It's we can plan all day long, and we can have goals, and we can go out, and do what God planned for us, or what we know God planned for us. um but it can all change. We don't know all the time what life has in store for us. Only God knows that.
yeah.
We can't plan our death. I mean, you can, but you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know. If it's natural, you don't know what God has in store every single day. And things change. You don't know exactly how God's going to use you from day to day.
Yeah.
It's that is one of the great surprises about life, is how God uses us on a day to day, and He can even use us in death. He uses our deaths a lot of times
To bring people
to
together.
bring people together, to affect people, to save souls. I've experienced so much death in my life. I've lost so many people, and I've seen so many people saved out of people's deaths, and so many people's lives changed, coming from people's deaths. People coming off drugs for some odd reason, because they don't, you know, because their parents died, they want to make a change for that, or there's somebody in some way their lives are completely changed. Something changes out of somebody's death. Somebody has to step up in life. Somebody does something different. God uses, what, and remember, God looks at death differently than we do.
Yeah.
We look at death as, because we're here on earth, we don't see these people anymore. And for us, a lot of times we mourn, and it's heartbreaking, but it's different from God, especially for people that are going straight to Him. It's different for Him. Like, it's a rejoicing. It's a good thing. He doesn't look at death the way we do. He understands, you know what I mean? He was made human. He understands. He gets how we mourn. He understands the loss. He gets it. He has compassion. He has empathy. But when it comes to the finality of death, it's so different for Him. He welcomes us. He loves us. He's welcoming us. We don't exactly, even though we say we do, and it's a homecoming, it's a homegoing.
Yeah.
It still hurts, and it's still, we're letting go, and we're missing them. And
Well, you know what it is that a lot of times, when you look at death and you look at what we go through as human beings, like right now, there's millions of people that are getting up in the morning and they don't want to.
Right.
They're going to work. They have to do this, have to do that. The society produces such a driven world, but this society in America produces such a driven world that you don't get to enjoy life, and you don't get to enjoy your friends. So by the time we spend all this time in this stuffed shell called school, and we're all growing up, and we can't wait to just do life together as friends. And and you come out the gate, and you do what you see adults do, because you're a kid and you do what adults do, and you rock out, you party how adults party, and then you find out this ain't working. Like this, this isn't gonna get us anywhere. And then you find out you got friends that are giving up, friends that have thrown in the towel, friends that are already addicted before they're even 20 years old. And then you start trying to make better decisions in life, and then you go, and you can make better decisions in society, but it still doesn't lead up to enjoying life. Like, those are two different conversations. Most people are miserable because they're overworked and don't enjoy life.
And again, those are choices, like we talked about
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
Like you can choose not to do that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you can absolutely choose a different lifestyle.
I know it's gonna sound crazy, but it's like this need to make it.
Right. Do you have to have a new car? Do you have to have a $400,000 house? Do you have to have all that credit card
Right.
debt? Do you have to have new hairstyles all the time? Do you have to have $200 pair of tennis shoes? Like,
But
do you have to have the stress that comes
but if no
with
one's
it?
teaching you otherwise, that's the
Right.
problem. Is that it's us. We sold this idea that
Mhm.
buying stuff and the more you have is enjoying life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because I was there.
And
I was there.
it's
Like
just not true. It's just not a true thing.
I went from
And-
my story. Like we went from my kids were in private school. We had a huge house, new cars, vacations, everything. Like I had that to absolutely. When I say I lost everything,
Yeah.
like I lost. It reminds me of the story of Job, but I can't say I lost everything. I lost everything material because I still have my children and my parents and y'all and people that I have people, and that's what I learned
that's this whole situation. That is
most.
exactly what matters.
Because I literally had like I lost a lot of my clothes, my coats in a fire. First I lost my house, then I lost everything in a fire. Like it was like, and then my car broke down that I had like brand new, and then it was used by this point. It was older. That just completely went. It was like, and then it was like I had to give up my 2 dogs that I loved with all of my heart. I had them for like 11 and 12 years, my 2 beagles. I had to rehome them and broke my heart in a billion pieces. Like I still cry about it. And like it was like, and then and it was like I just like kept losing and losing stuff after my divorce. And it was like and that wasn't even my choice, it was like I just kept losing, but I just kept praising God. And it was like I didn't let it get me down. I didn't let it get me. I didn't. And I just kept being grateful for what I still had, and grateful for what I still had, grateful for what I still had, because as long as I still had the people, that's what I was grateful for, because God gives and he takes away, and he gives and he takes away, and he gives and he takes away. And all that stuff is just stuff, and it's not worth. I had so much at one point, like all the riches, and I grew up kind of poor, so I knew what that was like, and I knew what it was like to have a lot of money. So I'm like, you know what, bring it on. Like I can rebuild back again. God can give it all back again, or he can do whatever he wants with me. I'm whatever. I'm a blank slate now, like God, do whatever he wants with me. It's okay. And that's how you just have to do. Don't stress about money so much. It's just money. It's just stuff. That's all it is. It's just stuff. Don't stress about stuff. It's just stuff. You can't take it with you. It's just stuff. Don't stress about the house and the cars and the how am I going to afford, this and that. And no, like I know we all have to have a roof over our head. Nobody wants to be in the cold. I get that. But most of the stuff is just stuff. It's just stuff. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and you can exhaust yourself because, and I think that's what the American culture has become. We got more stuff, but less relationship, less,
Exactly.
friendship. Our friends are growing. It shouldn't be that you go 10, 15, 20 years without talking to your closest friends, and but what happens is I think and that creates that stuff thing creates an awesome opportunity for shame to come in because you don't have, and now you distance yourself from people that actually love you. They actually love you. They actually love who you are as a person, and you distance yourself because you don't have the big house and the cars and the boats and all this other stuff.
Right.
And
yeah, we had boats. We had all of
Randy
them.
Williams said, we confuse stuff with living life and joy and happiness.
Right,
Yeah, it's true.
exactly.
And Randy,
Nobody can take
I
my
want to
joy.
say that you're exactly right, Randy. One of the things that I think that happens is Americans never really knew how to have relationships.
Mhm.
You know, it was like men oppressing women. Then there was the slavery thing, and then it was like then the who's who became. How do you become like when you're trying to establish a country? What does that mean when you're trying to establish a country? Well, it means a bunch of people trying to be important. And versus a bunch of people establishing a nation off of love and principles. And so we miss each other. And now I know that the number is fancy, 2022, but like, have we really grown as a nation? Have we learned how to treat people better? Have we learned how to treat each other better? Not really. You know what I mean? It's actually gotten worse.
I was thinking that when COVID happened and we all had to quarantine, that we were all going to learn, like we were all going to say like, wow, all these people are dying. We need to love each other. We need to be closer together. Like we need to come together. At least the body of Christ was going to figure this out, right? Like churches were shut down. We were going to fight together. We were going to come together as a body of Christ. This is, we were going to do this. We were going to help people. We were going to show love. We were going to evangelize, show our light. And then it's like, I saw Christians fighting more than ever. And false prophets coming out of the woodwork and all of this happening. And then it's like, okay, quarantine is over and road rage is worse than ever. And people are just, greedy. And it's like, did nobody learned anything? It's like, I do not see at all how people learned a thing. Like nobody got closer. Nobody.
Well, that's because I'm telling you.
I just feel like people got greedy.
The only people that can really teach relationships are the people of love, which is supposed to be the real people who got not the fake stuff that you're talking about.
Right.
But one of the things is that, and that's one of the responsibilities that God gives us is to love. Now, check this out. I remember one of the things about being in. Yeah. Okay. One of the things about this culture is we don't know how to enjoy things anymore. I want to play you guys the interview that we did with Abby
Robertson. She's a hometown girl from here in Virginia. I'm sure a lot of you may know Abby Robertson.
I'm going to play the interview because she really talked about so
Maybe
much.
After that, we can play one of her songs. She's amazing. Not only has she got a voice like an angel, but her testimony, it just blows me away. How God just brought her back to where she needed to be, and her light shines brighter than ever. I love it. She's such an amazing person.
Yeah, I mean, just a sweetheart. Let me see if this.
I can't wait to have her here in the studio.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
I'm not creepy at all. I asked Duke yesterday if we could adopt her, but
yes, she does have a beautiful heart. And she really does have a beautiful heart. I'm gonna see if I can play this. When I say I couldn't believe like how genuine she is. It's just amazing to see her how genuine she is. Hold on. All right, check this out. Amazing. We've got with us
Abby Robertson.
How you doing, Abby? Hi, y'all. I am so good. This is so surreal talking to a hometown station.
I know, a hometown girl. We have her. So excited.
I got a chance to check out your music a year ago, and I gotta tell you, you definitely are an amazing artist, and you're so gifted and anointed. I would just like for you to tell us a little bit about, where the passion and heart for your music, your lyrics, come from.
Man, I love questions like this. Growing up, obviously, my parents are firm believers, and I grew up in the church, and I moved away from Virginia, and honestly, I walked away from my faith, and I decided to live the life that I wanted to live, and I was putting faith before God, and just all of this stuff that happened that I was like, I know better than this, and this is definitely not a life that's fulfilling. So I don't know why I'm doing this, but finally a year and a half ago, I rededicated my life to the Lord, and I came back around, and the lyrics, these songs, and the stuff that I write about is coming from a personal place. Like my goal is to be real and authentic, and all of these songs have come from a place of brokenness and understanding. And if anything, when people listen to this music, I want them to have an encounter with the Lord. Just know that just as much as they're human, I'm human. We all go through things, but yeah, the Lord's changed my life in crazy ways, and I just can't stop talking about it.
I actually saw that you said that, and it touched my heart. You said, I'm a human and I'm going through it, and I love Jesus, and that's what gets me through. And that really touched me when you said that, and I love it. You're so beautiful. Like, of course, you're beautiful on the outside, on the inside. You have a beautiful voice, and it's so amazing. We were talking, Winter Jam here is March 18th, and I know we all can't wait to see you. It's going to be so exciting.
Let me ask you this, because I know that when you talk about you walked away from your faith and this and that, was there a point where you actually felt disconnected from God? Because I always think about this scripture when I hear stuff like that, when people have come back or had that journey where they walked away. I always think about where the Bible says that the angels don't understand our songs because they didn't know what it was like to walk away and things. Did you ever feel that there was a disconnect, or how did that actually go?
Yeah, no, I can attest to it. Like, I have never felt so broken and distant and just searching for love and hope. And, I was looking for my worth and my identity in people. And, coming back around, like, it's found in Jesus and what he says about me. But I think moving out to a big city and I don't know, like literally walking away from everything. I was like, this is the first time I'm figuring it out. And, as humans, we're prideful and we think our way is better than God's and that we know more. And it came to the point where I had a crazy life experience happen. And I remember sitting on the ground with my hands up to God. And I was like, I hear that you fix things. And I don't know if that's true, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I need to surrender my hurt and my desire and my want and all of it. And so I need you to fix me. And it was the moment of just like peace. I'd always heard it in church, but like this peace just washed over me. And it was as if something had been lifted from my eyes. It's just like God still loves me despite all of the things I've just done and the brokenness that I feel. And he looks at me and says, like, you're still my daughter. You're worthy of these things. Like everything you're searching for, I can give it to you. So yeah, I can definitely say I understand that scripture.
Yeah, because I can hear it in your song. And when I was talking to your team a year ago, we were supposed to have a business meeting, and then it turned into a church service because we ended up just talking about the amazing things that God is doing in music and things like that. And sometimes when I talk to the older generation, a lot of times they say things like, "Oh, this generation, is too far gone. They're walking away," and I'm like, "That's just not true. There's a generation coming that has had an intimacy with God, and I believe you are a part of that revival that's going to just sweep over America and bring us back to that place with God." I do have to ask you this, though. I do have to ask you, with everything that's happened in the last 2 years, how has that strengthened your faith with everything that's been going on with COVID and just where America is right now? How has that strengthened you as an artist?
Wow, that's a really good question. I could cry, honestly. I'm going to try not to because this is a deep question, and it just the change that's happened in my life. I think if anything, like I definitely was living that lifestyle of emptiness in COVID, and I felt hopeless, and I know so many other people did, but coming out of it, it was September of 2020 that I was like, God, I need you to fix me. That if anything, it gave me more grace and understanding for where people are at. And I think that strengthened me as like, it's okay to be where you're at. You don't have to have it all together. but knowing that, like, and trusting that God will get you through it and having a firm foundation in the Lord. I think that's just been something that I've been clinging to, and yeah, just loving people, because I've met so many people so far, even on Winter Jam, that are just so broken and searching for love and hope, and just like loving people and telling them that they matter and that they're worthy of the things that they need, and it's in Jesus, and just being kind to one another.
Right. And it seems like God gave you your specific testimony so that you can have that compassion and empathy for those that you're coming alongside of now, because of course he's God. He knew you were going to be on Winter Jam. He knew all the people you were going to come across. So you went through what you went through so that you could have that specific testimony, so that you could have the grace and the compassion and the understanding to help all these people that you're coming across, to just give that love, like you said, loving people. You got that testimony, and God loved you so much that he gave you that testimony so that you could love others the way that you are. That's so awesome.
That's a great way of looking at it. Like, I honestly haven't thought of it that way, but that's so beautiful, and it's true. Like, yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
Well, I know that there's a lot of artists that are going to be listening to, especially since you are hometown. A lot of Chris artists. How did she do it? How do you make it? Tell us the secrets. What do you have to do? Okay, so I know that that's going to, because like I'm a preacher, so I'm definitely always thinking about that stuff. But for the sake of the artists, I would like for you to kind of just discuss that a little bit about, like, there is the very spiritual side, this awesomeness with God, but then there is like a side of being driven, and what does it take to be a faith-based artist today? I want other artists to hear you just kind of encourage them a little bit and reveal to them about that process. And the reason why I think this is important is because so many artists get discouraged. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, obviously, I mean, I know there's people probably listening that do personally know me and have watched me grow up, and I've always been in music, and I was constantly running after things that weren't of God. Like, I don't even think I wanted to. I just wanted to not be in Christian music, and the Lord was constantly pursuing after my heart, and things would happen and doors would open and it would be in Christian music. And because I wasn't coming from a place of being filled up, I was like, I don't want to do it, but I guess, okay, I'll do it. But for whatever reason, I never stopped, even though, I was lying to myself saying, like, I don't want to be in Christian music. I grew up wanting to be in Christian music. And I think it's just it is a very driven, like, there's so many people out here and people are hungry to do these things, but I don't know, just don't give up on it. And also just, like, figure out where God wants you to be. Like, I knew from an early age that the calling on my life was music, and I have yearbooks and stuff like that where you can quote me on kindergarten things. Like, I used to write, I wanna sing songs about Jesus and be on stage and proclaim his name, and it's something that's, like, been so ingrained in me, and I just felt like the Lord was calling me to it, that once I got older, I was like, how was I denying this? Like, it's been something He placed on my heart forever, and I'm just grateful. It's the kindness of the Lord that I'm here, but it's also the fight of just not giving up. And I'm sure we're running short on time, but there's this passage that I read, and it was saying, like, being so deeply rooted in what God says about you and where He's calling you, that when the wind comes and you blow over, you're not going to, like, uproot yourself. You're so rooted in Him. You know your worth, and your value comes in what He says. And so I think that's another encouragement part, is just, like, get planted in the Word and in community, and have people around you that can speak life into you. So when hard times come, because they do, they won't uproot you. They'll just, like, blow you over a little bit, and you'll have support to come back up.
Yeah. That's so good.
Well, we're going to keep playing your music, and we cannot wait to see you on March 18th.
Yeah. And consider this like another home. You can you are welcome here anytime. This current area. We absolutely are crazy about it.
We would love to have you here. If you could come when you are in town.
Yes, that would be so fun. Let's set it up. Let's try and get something together even the morning of, or
that'd be great.
I'll come home and visit my family, and I'll have to come to you guys.
Make sure you do. That would be amazing.
We would love it.
Well, thank you so much. Abby Robinson, everybody, will be joining us in Winter Jam on
RGT.
All right. Thank you so much. You be blessed, all right?
Have a blessed day.
Love you guys.
Love you. Yay. 7 months.
Yeah, she has just this a beautiful spirit, just a genuine person. But what I find interesting is that she was brave enough to not let fear stop her. You know, she was brave enough. Because here's the thing about going down the wrong path: all it does is take from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you go down the wrong path, it's like it's offering you nothing. You know, and that's all it does is take from you. When you go down the right path, you're being given life. And a lot of times it's the life we couldn't even see, we couldn't even imagine, because most of us, if you look, most of us look at our family, the dynamics of our family, we go, okay, so that's life. The family,
Right.
you know, you don't realize what's actually out there. If you saw what God is actually offering you, what the Creator's offering you, versus what the limitations of our fear and all this other stuff, you know, who would have ever thought you could live a life like I know people who are hilarious, and as soon as you say, "Hey, man, I really think you need to go in comedy," they clam up and like, "Hey, what are you talking about? You can't make any comedy." I'm like, "Oh, I thought there was a profession called comedy."
That's funny.
You know,
Right.
you did it yourself. You know, you did it yourself. When I talked to you about writing, you're like, "I don't have time for that." Well, at that time, I could see, but you it's not that you didn't have the time; it's that your mind was cluttered. You were just coming out of so much.
Right.
Just writing just didn't seem like. And I talked to so many authors who are in the same situation. They'll say, "I can't do that." People who want to start a business, they put it off and put it off and put it off. I know people who really want to have children, but
Yeah, 'cause
because
when you
they
think-
want to make their money first, then they're getting older, and then
right. When you think about writing, you think about you have in your head like someone that goes like into a cabin and just completely shuts down and doesn't talk to anyone until
the book is written.
the book is completely done. Right. So it doesn't have to be that way, so just start, write the first word.
But it's also, like I said, it's so funny because it crosses over into like children. This idea of making it first and then getting married and having kids, and so people are literally playing with their lives.
Right.
We got Madison Downs watching. What's going on, Madison Downs? We got Larry Jenkins watching. William Harper, Randall Williams.
Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing? I tell you what, man. Speaking of living life, Madison Downs, this guy, he's one that
He's been here before.
Yeah, Madison Downs. I love this guy. Not only did he like overcome the idea of the typical black man in America, that, but this guy actually has done so much in life. He went to Howard University.
Right.
Then he ends up playing. He joins the military, plays professional football. Then he runs for Congress. He's a father. This guy is a guy that's not afraid to, he treats life like it's an adventure. And now here's what's cool about it.
He's a dog dad.
He is a dog dad. But here's what's really cool about it. The whole thing is that if I'm going through something, I can absolutely call him and he'll pick up the phone. You know what I mean? I'm not good at that, but he'll pick up the phone, and no matter what he's got going on, this guy has helped so many soldiers through get through some difficult stuff, and he was a chaplain in the military, right? And so what I find interesting is when he gets out, instead of just kind of going into a cave, you know what I mean? He still finds a purpose in leadership and says, "Hey, I'm going to use these skills." And what I'm saying is, just because this word, I think the worst word in America is retired. I think it's such a dangerous word, and it's like I've been in that situation, and so it's like when people say, "Oh, you retired, you're good, man." It's like, no, you got to find your purpose, because when you retire, it's no longer about what you did to make money. It's like, I was like, okay, so you now have time to deal with who you are. But when I think about the idea of retirement, right? The idea of retirement, most people are working up to their 60s and then retiring. And it's like, we live in a country where they're going to give you, I don't want to say your last 20 years, but you're going to get, it's not like we're living to be 120 years old or something.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But we were working ourselves into the ground and not enjoying our families and not enjoying our friends. And, but then watch this, here's what happens, man. It never fails. Funeral shows up, someone passes away, and then what does everybody do? We need to get together more. We can't just get together. Don't tell me.
Every single
that's
time.
I did not want you to agree with me. I wanted you to say something different. Because I've never met a person. I've actually never met a person that had a funeral where they didn't say that. Everyone, I go up to you, hey man, are you thinking that we need to get together more? And they're like, yeah, man, I'm thinking that. How are you also thinking that, the only time we get together is doing funerals? Yeah, man, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, even the last few funerals, I've been like, we really have to stop saying that we need to get together more than funerals and actually do it.
And then now COVID happens and everybody, I got family members right now that they don't want me to come around them because I'm not vaccinated.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, my uncle and aunt canceled our entire family reunion that we usually have at their house because people in our family aren't vaccinated. So.
It's all good. We'll find out some new unvaccinated family. No, I'm kidding. Try to play some. No, but speaking, we had a little weird day yesterday, didn't we? You guys.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
All right.
So, awesome.
Do you want to tell the story?
Well, yesterday, for those that were listening, we were talking a little bit about the Holocaust. I don't even remember what we were saying, but we were talking about it. Then I remembered later in the day because I ended up, I wanted to interview Duke last night for Holocaust Remembrance Day because it was the 77th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp. And for those that don't know, that was the worst of the worst. I mean, they were all bad, of course, but the most people died in that camp. There was like over 1 million in that camp alone. And there was still many in there when it was liberated. So anyway, it was the 77th anniversary of the day that it was liberated. So it was just a day to commemorate that and Holocaust Remembrance. So I wanted to interview Duke last night about his friend because he helped plant a tree of peace at Oscar Smith High School when he was a teenager, a senior. He had met this woman,
Esther Goldman.
Esther Goldman, and she was a survivor. She was one of those that was actually liberated and from the camp. And so he met her and they planted a tree in front of Oscar Smith when he was a senior, and it was in the yearbook and the news was there and it was a big to-do. Well, Duke had noticed that they had taken the tree up a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it really upset him. And see, they planted it in 97. She, in 99,
wrote
a book, her memoir, and it was called what was it called again?
Feeling Guilty.
And then in 2001, she passed away. So thank goodness she was able to plant the tree, write the book, and everything just a few years before she passed away. Well, anyway, this is where it gets cool. First of all, with the book, 2 years ago, a year ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Duke really wanted this book. He found out about the book. He really wanted the book. And we went to DC to film for The Real Life with Duke White and in the Bible Museum. While we were there, we went to the archives and tried to get the book, but it was in another building and we were on a schedule and we couldn't go. And he was disappointed. He just wanted to see the book. He wasn't expecting to even get the book. He just wanted to see it. And we researched and searched everywhere for it, couldn't find the book anywhere. And Amazon, nowhere like that had the book, couldn't find it anywhere. And we looked and looked for a long time. Well, I kept looking, and then finally one day I was like prayed. I was like, God, Duke really wants his book. It's on his heart.
And he was disappointed.
So anyway, I prayed about it, and all of a sudden I go on eBay one day, and there's this one copy for sale for quite a bit of money, but it was for sale by the owner of this book, and I purchased it. Well, when we got the book, she had signed it and put like "I love you" in it and stuff, and in her handwriting, which was really cool.
That was awesome.
So Duke got like one of the only copies out there, and so he has this book. Well, because yesterday was the 77th anniversary, he decides to go to Oscar Smith to try to talk to them about replanting the tree, because it's already been in the works for a few years now, but we wanted to go try to get something concrete. Well, while we were there, we realized, okay, it's the 77th anniversary, and we're looking. She passed away when she was 77.
Yeah.
And then this is 2022, and realized that she was 22 the day she was liberated.
Yeah.
So the way the numbers were. And did you want to talk about how?
Oh no, you got to tell about the tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go out front of the school, and he just goes up there, and he was like, I just want to take a picture of us, right here where the tree used to be. And it just a generalized area in front of the school. He was like, it was somewhere around here. So we took like a selfie, and he's like walking back toward the car or whatever, and he's talking. Well, I'm walking toward the car, and all of a sudden, like, I kind of stumble over this stump, and I start walking.
Which is, it was weird because it was like level to the ground.
Yeah, it was like level to the ground. And I walk back, and I'm like, what was that? I was like, why is there like a tree stump there? And I go back, and I'm like, something told me to go back. And I go back, and I'm like, there's a tree stump right here. And I'm like, why is this tree stump here? And it was like, and I couldn't stop talking about this tree stump for some reason. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And Duke comes over, and he was like, he looks at it, he's like, hold on. And he pulls up the picture, and it's the exact spot where the tree was.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the tree. And it was so funny how that happened.
Yeah.
How I just happened to trip over it.
And then the family, I've been trying to find the family of Esther for years. And I never thought about using social media. Well, Crystal being the stalker that she is, she realized that she could use the obituary to find out the names of those that were, that were survived by Esther. And so she uses the obituary, and she starts connecting the dots. And I actually got to talk to the grandson of Esther Goldman, who was a survivor of the Holocaust. I got to talk to her grandson yesterday, and we, I had to pull back because I was like, dude, you're about to be on the phone for 7 hours. So I didn't want to scare him away. I didn't want him to be like, oh gosh. But here's what's interesting, is that he really, he was kind of quiet and distant. When I started describing his grandmother and how feisty she was, he was like, that's her, my grandmother. Yep. And then we started the conversation. He was like, all right, who are you, buddy? And I started talking about how she was. He was like, yep, I have no doubt that's her. That's and then find out that when she came over from Auschwitz, one of the first things her and her husband did was buy a grocery store called Duke's Marketplace.
I know, that's pretty cool.
That was just like, all right, man. And when I say she would call me the liberator, the reason I'm in radio now, so much of who I am is based off her constantly telling me to be the leader, someone that represents leadership and to defend the people and to protect the people. And she always put that, that mindset of me. She's like, do you know who you are? Do you know what you're here to do? You're going to lead people. You're going to help people be, and she was always doing that. And to the point where she's like, people are going to call you crazy, which I mean, down to the detail. People call me crazy every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little bit true. A little bit true. But
Just a little.
yeah, but she was talking about you're gonna get scared sometimes. And I think what happened was, oh man, and let me tell you something. Whatever goes on their plate, or whatever went on her plate, she ate it. Like it didn't matter. It was like, hey, because she was just like, you never know when you're gonna eat again.
Oh wow.
And I was just like, well, I'm fat, so I know when I'm gonna eat again. But I wasn't fat at that time.
That's sad.
But that was a habit of hers. She was like, you never know when you're gonna eat again. Just such an amazing person. But I do want everybody to, if you get a chance, I don't care where you are in the world, call Oscar Smith High School and request that the Tree of Peace be replanted. Call Oscar Smith High School. I don't know the phone number, but it's Oscar Frommel Smith in Chesapeake, Virginia. Call the school and tell people, be like, hey, we want that Tree of Peace replanted. Matter of fact, one of the young people that was standing there when I was planting the tree was Lakita Brown, and she was killed in the mass shooting in Virginia Beach. She was one of the victims there. She was there on the day that we planted the tree. You know what I mean? And so we've got to remind ourselves of how bad things can get, and we've got to remind ourselves that God has actually put, people in our lives, or even monuments in our lives, to be a point of reference of what our community and what love can really be, and who we truly are as a people. Now, American history is kind of ugly right now. It's been ugly for a while, but we have such a bright future.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, all right, Current FM audience, we're gonna play you guys some music. We'll be back after these rock and roll scriptures, rock and roll music. God bless
Rock
you.
and roll scriptures.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Rock and roll scriptures. Yeah, but Esther was, guys, you gotta understand, such an amazing person. And the thing about the holiday season and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta be careful that we don't think about stuff to the holidays. Like you and your husband, you and your wife, just care less about each other. But here comes Valentine's Day, and it's like, oh, gotta show the other half I love them. It's such a bad idea. You know what I mean? Like let's be loving no matter what. You know what I mean? Let's be loving no matter what time of year it is. Crystal, you can do a better job at, being more gentle.
Yeah.
And
So
being in tune.
adorable.
Yeah, you're kind of like a drill sergeant.
Oh yeah. Would you need around the thing?
Oh, is it up? Is it ready? I want to see it. Oh man, I gotta see this. Let me see this. My daughter just said, "Don't get mad." I gotta see what this is.
Okay. So, no, it's not. The church, not the church. So, don't get mad. Okay. I'm only a year into this. So I found out that I can actually do all those designs with vinyl.
Oh, wow.
So don't get mad.
Wow.
Don't get mad.
Wow.
Don't get mad.
Is there something wrong with doing it with
It just, especially with the crown design, because it looks like it wants to big on the shirt, and you know how the cricket crown is so small, and then on the cricket, I can only push it to a certain degree, less than the paper, so it's just really small shirt. So you see, oh, we're doing that. And then, what's lucky, I tried that too.
She's only a year into this. You need more what?
Yeah. And the one is monkey one, I printed that one off, you have to do that one with vinyl too.
Oh, that's That's funny. That's too funny.
At least the vinyl will show up way better.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
Yeah, because you can still use that stuff like bags and stuff like that.
oh
But,
man.
it
That's
looks
too
more
funny.
vibrant with the vinyl anyways. Yeah. Okay, and then yeah, for that one, he wants gold. That's one we'll do that because
Oh.
gold for that.
So, we do custom shirts. And so my daughter just found out she could do it with.
She can do it better than she thought she could.
She
put
could
it that
do,
way.
yeah. She thought she did it better than she thought she could. What's
Oh, yeah,
funny
I
is she
can
was
do it
like,
better than I thought I could.
well, I get it because she was making a big deal out of it, like she being all nervous, and then find out that she could actually do it.
I don't think she wanted you to know because she kept trying to get me to come here without you seeing it.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. She was like, he's going to be annoying. Can you do this? Can you do that? She's going to be like, yeah, you're exactly right. Oh, that's too funny. Hey, guys, don't forget about William T. Stars.
Too funny.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Don't forget about William T. Stars. This guy is such an amazing guy, and his house was he got burned terribly in a fire. He got burned terribly in a fire, and hey, what's going on, Nakia? And so he was a faith-based rapper, Christian rapper, goes around to different churches all over. And a lot of times he doesn't even get paid a lot of times, he just does it out of his good heart. And this guy got terribly burned. He's going to need help for about 3 months because he can't walk. He gets burns all over his body. I believe that it's our job as a people of faith to show the world what love really is, what brotherhood really is, what friendship really is. His Cash App is $, William T. Stars. If you look on Facebook, it's William Womack Jr. William Womack Jr. But it's $, William T. Stars. That's his Cash App. Make sure you support him. Then yesterday, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw a woman whose house completely burned down. They lost everything in the house. Now, I know you were just talking about stuff earlier. We're keeping that in context. She's happy that she's walked away with her family and her life and everything like that. But now she's sleeping in her car. So we got one guy who can't take care of his family for 3 weeks or 3 months, and he's going to need his brothers and sisters in Christ. And then we have Juanita Gibbs, who, Juanita Gibbs lost everything in a house fire. Like, guys, this is what we do. We help each other. Crystal, I know you like these shows. I know these shows are good causes, but I cannot stand shows like Home Makeover. I get jealous because I'm like, they're doing what the body of Christ is supposed to be doing. They're doing it, for good cause, but it's like, why is the church not doing it? When we hear about a house fire, imagine the same way the house burned down, that they get so much overwhelming love that like nothing can stop us. Do you realize how many people of faith there are? If we would just get focused and take care of each other, there should never be such thing as a single mother having to work 4 jobs to take care of her kids.
We're supposed to represent Jesus.
Yeah.
And not hide our light. We're supposed to shine our light so that we can save souls and love people. Love is an action.
But I think here's what I think. I think that people think that love is what you receive, not what you give. Because we have such a taking generation, you know what I mean? That love is now like, if you love me, give me this.
No.
Love is something.
You're constantly supposed to be verbing.
Yeah.
That's what what are you doing? What are you doing?
Verbing.
Like you're verbing.
Yeah.
Like,
But by the way, Juanita Gibbs Cash App, The Cash App is IBELIVE7. It's a Cash App $sign $IBELIVE. That's the Cash App. You know what I mean? So
And then some people like I've said this before.
all right on.
I've said this
Hold
before.
it straight up.
Hold on, no, Faith is trying to show us.
Oh, that's too cool. Yeah. All right, right on. We got a new shirt that we're doing for somebody. That's pretty cool.
But this example, which is a true story, people often say, "Well, I've already given, or I've already done this, or I already do this." And I was with somebody one time where we came out of a store and somebody asked for something to eat. And the person I was with said, "I just gave you something yesterday." And the other person said, "Well, I'm hungry again today too." And the person I was with was like, "You know what? You're right. I'm sorry." And it was like, yeah, like, aren't you hungry every day? And it's like, and it's true. It's like, okay, so you volunteer here, so you gave here, so you did this. Like, no, it's never enough. Like, if you're a Christian, it's you
our
represent
lifestyle.
Jesus, right? Like the way Duke and I are, it's an everyday thing. Like, we don't get paid for most of the stuff we do.
I think that's why people are shocked when they see how we are together, because y'all, we crazy. We crazy. But I think when people get shocked by it, it's like, wait, they have a normal, crazy relationship, but they're still serving God. Where most people will put on an act to pretend, but because it is our lifestyle, we don't have to pretend anything. You know what I mean? I think that, see, what I'm saying is that when ministry is not a lifestyle, you get the privilege to pretend and perform because you don't do it that much. So you catch every nuance, you do everything perfect. But when it's a lifestyle, you miss some stuff. You have some good days, you have some bad days, but the fact is you're consistent. You know what I mean?
It's not about what you get out of it at all.
Hey, by the way, we have a radio talk show, and it's crazy that we get to be a voice over the city, right? Now, check this out. I used to be a kid, and I would be like, how is it possible that Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, Arsenio Hall, all these, they show up to work every day happy? And it's like, is it because they love their job so much? And then I hear the stories about they're screaming and yelling backstage, going crazy, fussing and fighting, not getting along with guests, all types of stuff, and get out there on the stage and have a good time. And I said, what is that? I was like, what is that? And one of the things that the Lord showed me was that it's not about being happy all the time, but it is about doing what you love. Like, be true to your life to do what you love. That's that to me right there is it's so real. Like, if you're a wedding planner, it's not that you just like at every wedding you're like, oh yay, but when you got the privilege of doing what you love, and that's what faking it does. It steals your ability to do what you love. Listen, man.
I know I like serving. I mean, that is one of my things in different capacities. And you do too. You know what I mean? It seems like we are able to step in and just kind of volunteer wherever, wherever it's needed.
I love that. We wherever it's needed, we get to step in and become that. Right. And that's something you can't fake. You can't fake what you actually love. There's a drive. You can tolerate things. You can put up with stuff when you're actually doing what you love. But when you are doing things just to make money or doing things to go through the motion, like a lot of church people just go through the motion, people say I'm always hard on the church, and it's not that. All right, so I'm hard on the church. But the only reason why is 9 times out of 10, the church is a lot of times the church is just full of crap. Because, and I say that in all due respect. Of course, I'm not talking about the ones that aren't full of crap. But when the church is the place where people are supposed to, go find truth, and instead they get, a performance. Instead, they get, they're looking for the power of God. Instead, they get a denomination and humans' ideas instead of really rocking with God. But I'm saying all that because a lot of times preachers forget about, not just who they are. A lot of preachers forget about like the Bible says to the church, you forgot your first love. When you first get saved, it's about the love of God, the love of the Messiah. And a lot of churches get caught up in, smoke machines and charisma and all the stuff that doesn't matter. We got to get back to the heart of people. We got to get back to caring for people and being there when it matters, and not just telling people you're going to pray for them, but actually being there when it matters. You know what I mean? That's critical. That's important. Hey, are we giving any tickets away? I don't know. I'm trying to find out if we're giving some tickets away.
We have one more pair to give away.
We got another pair of tickets to give away. But no, what I was telling them, Crystal, was just about how even God Himself, judges the church, and He says to the church that like you've forgotten your first love. It's so easy to go through the motions. You know that people can feel when you're just going through the motions. If you like, you can tell when you're on the phone with somebody who's winding down and wants to get off the phone. If you're paying attention, you can tell somebody who's paying attention in class or like falling asleep in class. You can tell when someone's tuning out. Husbands and wives can tell each other, can figure out when their person needs some space. Their husband or wife needs some space. We got to get back to this place where we're sensitive to the atmosphere. We can read a room, where we can, see what's going on in each other's hearts. And all this busyness does is just make us miss those moments. I think this is one of the things I'm going to tell people. And I say this all the time. It came to me in the middle of the night one time during COVID, when COVID first came out, we couldn't go anywhere. It was, people have to be careful, because when you're not careful, it makes people care less.
Right.
And when people care less, they become careless.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, if you're not full of care, you will cause people to care less, which causes them to care less. And I wonder how long we've been doing that as a country to each other, just wearing each other out, but what do they got to do to win these tickets, man?
Well,
we're not on air yet.
no, we're not on here yet. That's what I was saying.
Well, of course, the Savior Connect audience, you guys you get the first dibs. You get to hear it first. Pastor Kobe said there's always a need. The whole book of Acts. The whole book of Acts. The book of Acts was genuinely a focused church. You know what I mean? The book of Acts, these guys, I saw how these guys were so intense and so focused that even amongst persecution and unto death, they were going there to preach the gospel. Now, I want to explain something to you. The body of Christ is so huge that if people actually got focused on missionary work, they couldn't just kill a small group of missionaries, because we should be sending armies to go to other countries to love, build, care for people, build communities and preach the gospel to the point where they're like, man, you go and you show a nation love, they're going to respond differently than just, going there and trying to colonize. You colonizers over here.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
People respond to genuine love.
Oh yeah.
I know the difference.
And that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you got to remember historically, there's this movie that I grew up watching called I Come in Peace. It's about an alien who the only words that he knows is I come in peace. But he's trying to take over the world and trying to kill everybody, take over the world. I come in peace. And that's the only thing he would say. And it's man movies, but it was great fight scenes. Stuff blew
You're
up.
funny.
Stuff blew up. How many of you guys remember I Come in Peace? I don't know. You guys remember I Come in Peace? There's a good movie. Well, I mean, if you lower your standards and then put the good on my level, but it was whatever. It was an action movie. I realized I've just been realizing how bad like 80s action movies really were. Oh man, it's so bad. Like you can see where they slow down and actually punch you. You'll see guys making mistakes in the background. And then the one-liners are just bad. So speaking of one-liners, did you know the famous "I'll be back" was actually a mistake? He was supposed to say "I'll be back," right? That was what he was. But he kept saying a robot wouldn't say "I'll be back." The robot would say "I will be back." And he wanted to say "I will be back." See, that's what he was like. It doesn't have the same rhythm. The director ends up going nuts on Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, you do your job, cusses him out the whole nine. And he's like, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, usually the bigger you are, the more of a puppy you are until you turn into a ravenous bear. And Arnold Schwarzenegger says, all right. He calms down. He just comes in. And what happens is he's so frustrated after like their 17th take, he just says, I'll be back. No matter how much it bothers. And it was like a perfect take. Because he did it. Because guess what? He's a robot, right? He did it without emotion.
Right.
Tell me that's not hilarious.
That's funny.
And then it becomes like the world. And guess who was supposed to be the Terminator?
Who?
Before Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Who?
O.J. Simpson. You look it up. O.J.
That
Simpson.
didn't happen.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to play calories. Oh my goodness. She said, I'm glad that didn't happen. Oh, you took it there. Oh,
What do
man.
you think?
Oh,
I'm not gonna pretend.
hey,
He murdered 2 people and got away with it.
I plead the fifth. He also, he did some extra stuff after that, but the whole court case thing that just, I saw this interview when he like had a joke afterwards, and the reporter, he was just like, I got a surprise for you after we do the interview, and he says, I'll bring it to your door at the hotel room. And she goes to open the door. The camera's rolling. She goes to open the door, and he's got a knife, and he goes, It's so inappropriate.
He did that?
Yeah. Oh, it's on YouTube. It's on. You can actually look it up. Exactly. Like she actually put it out there how inappropriate. She was like, it was such an inappropriate joke. But hey, whatever.
I would have had him arrested then for attempted murder.
Oh man, I could say something so witty, but a lot of people would be upset. Anyway, but I really believe that what's going on in America today is we got to get back to, first of all, embracing creativity, another big deal. We got to get back to embracing creativity. We got to get back to joy. We got to get back to happiness. You know what I mean? We got to get back to building each other up, and reminding people what life's really genuinely about, and the genuine love of God. We got to get back to treating each other right. You know what I mean? I think people sometimes get scared because of one. I think people get scared of one, rejection and failure. The fear of rejection and failure cause people to kind of, and they miss out on so much. Miss out on the adventure of life. You know what I mean? So I want to encourage everybody to take your adventure. Go take your adventure. Be brave. Be willing to get out here and live. You know what I'm saying? All right, Current FM, we are back. I hope you guys are enjoying the music. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. It's actually time for us to, give away some tickets. Oh yeah, we're giving away tickets. What do we got?
He's so excited about that. Yay. I love when he's excited about something.
I'm always excited. I'm Duke.
You are. Well, we have one more pair of Phil Wickham tickets to give away
All right.
in our great vault of tickets
Right.
for a never-ending ticket giveaway.
Right.
So you just call us. This one, I've done some easier ones. This one's pretty easy too because all you have to do is look it up. But what is the name of the tour? What is the name of the tour that Phil Wickham, the name of his tour that he will be on when he will be here on May 15th
that's
in
easy.
Chesapeake, Virginia?
It's the Duke is Awesome tour.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what it's.
That's not
it's-
it.
I'm telling you, that's the answer. It's the Duke is Awesome tour. Guys, you get this wrong.
You're so funny. So call and tell us the name of the tour that he is on and will be on when he comes on May 15th to Chesapeake, Virginia. And the last pair of tickets to see Phil Wickham is
Yeah.
yours.
And I got to be honest with you guys about something. I have a confession to make.
And the number, by the way, is 631-7777. Again, that's 631-7777.
Area code 757 in case you're somewhere else, But hey, listen, I shouldn't be eating. I'm a big guy. I should be eating fast food anyway. And I think that my level of disappointment every time I try to go to a fast food restaurant is increasing so high. You guys, I'm just going to tell you, watch the movie with Michael Douglas called Falling Down. I'm telling you, it's bound to happen. I'm tired of my skimpy burgers because I get
Well,
tricked.
then why did you take me to that place yesterday?
Okay, first of all, I don't know what you and Faith's problem is. We went to Shake Shack. It was Shake Shack, yeah, and it was really, really good. But Faith and Crystal were like, "No, this isn't it." Faith said the fries taste like fries you get out the bag in a grocery store, and I was like, "Whoa," But anyway, you guys
She
said,
said the hamburger had no seasoning.
"Yeah, you guys are rough, man."
She says her hamburger tastes a lot better.
Oh yeah, because she's learned. Faith learned how to cook. I don't know what the other two are going to do in life because Faith learned how to do everything. What are the other two going to just expect her to cook? Expect her to do
That's how I
everything?
feel about some of them. Like that's how when my mom cooks. Like when I go to, you notice I don't like eating in restaurants a lot,
Yeah,
and I think it's because I'm spoiled. Like my mom cooks so good. Like her food is so amazing that it's like I go to restaurants and I'm like, eh. It's like
you're right. Eddie Murphy actually talked about that. He was just like, but he talked about it the backward way. It's like you get excited for the McDonald's burger, but Mom's burger is like big and fat and and it's just so good. But the kids would rather have the McDonald's burger, I think, because of the fact that the McDonald's burger. There was an experience, the play park, and all that other stuff that comes with it. When it comes down to burgers, home food just tastes better.
Yeah. Well, at home food, everything to me tastes better. I'm not like I used to like going out for the experience and stuff, but now I'm so cheap, I guess, that it's like, yeah, I'd rather have better food at home, save money.
Yeah.
And probably calories because you're cooking healthier when you eat at home. So it's like, yeah, I'd rather eat at home any day than going out.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The Bible actually does say that a man should eat at home, though. The last thing you should eat at home.
Even like when it comes to, even though like I know we have this funny thing we like Taco Bell, but I like my Mexican food when I cook way better than eating out anywhere.
Oh, I thought you were going to say better than a Mexican. I'm like, that's just pride. You know, it's just,
No, better
But-
than Mexican. But then even like I like my
Yeah.
Italian better than me.
but I'm telling you guys right now, seriously, we gotta get off this occultic system of like this. We gotta get off this train. People are dropping dead left and right because of what they're putting in the food and all types of stuff. Let's take care of ourselves. And verbally has no problem telling me straight up, Duke, stop being foolish. You can eat what you want. It's about portions. And I'm like, that's the part that I don't have discipline on. It's like, I've got to get the 32 pieces of chicken and eat all 32. I'm a caveman, and I blame Fred Flintstone. Do you remember how he got the big rack of ribs and it's like, like that's food,
Yeah, but I blame you. Like I gained a few pounds, and I blame on you because let me tell you what happened. So
she's a snacker.
no, this is not
Oh,
what
I
I'm saying.
can't.
So we would get food, and he would eat his food, and then I would never eat my food all at once, never, and I would always want to make it into 2 different meals. Well, then he would just end up taking my food and eating my food too, and so I started not wanting him to do that. So
I
try
love
to,
how you can twist the story around, man.
I would try to stuff my food and eat when I wasn't even hungry,
Yeah,
so he wouldn't eat my food.
Here's what would happen is that she would leave a half-eaten sandwich, sit in the car for like an hour or something like that. Then the next, a couple months go by, there's a tribe of like dwarfs and gnomes growing from the burger or whatever. And I'm like, I'm tired of you leaving food in the car. So before, I'm trying to make sure.
Dude, how many times have you taken my food out of my hand?
You take too long, dude. I finished an entire meal and she's like on the 4th bite. I'm running out of things to talk about. So I'm like, we got to move to the next scene. And I snatched that thing right out of it. You got to learn. You can't move that. Like, I think maybe it's because you make the mistake of tasting your food.
Yeah,
I'm more breathe it in.
Right.
I breathe it in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But seriously, like, I hope Matthew Gay's not watching. He's just like, this is not funny at all. Like, dude's gonna, Listen, Matt, this is the year. Oh man, Matthew Gay wants to like run me like he wants like real drill sergeant type stuff.
I'm not even gonna order food anymore, and you're just gonna share with me.
That actually sounds like a good deal, but I can tell you what. I tell you what though. This has to be the year. I turn 43 next month, and I feel like I'm 93. No offense to anyone that's 93. There's 93-year-olds that can probably outrun me. I walk up 3 steps and I'm like, whoo, yeesh, child. I looked at the picture of me planting the tree, and I'm like, okay, so where did that guy go? And how many of them are in here? Inside of, like, how many of those guys, no one's going to go back to their high school weight, but, not discouraging anyone. If you want to, go for it. But I'm saying that I don't have that kind of discipline. You know what I mean? But I think, and verbally, I'm telling you guys, she's always fussing at me. She's just like, dude, stop saying what you can't eat. You can eat whatever you want. It's portions, But see, the thing is that I think this is like, I don't know, like if there's a, what do you call those things? Calorie counting? That ain't happening, man. I'm not going to calorie count. I can't do it. I wish I had the discipline, but I just, you've seen me grocery shop. I just put stuff in the cart.
Oh gosh, it's a nightmare.
That's, there's a woman by the name of Brenda White, and she birthed me. I blame Brenda White. She never taught me how to grocery shop. You know what I mean? And so stuff just goes into.
We can go to the grocery store and like he'll go through with a cart and be done, and I'm on like aisle 2, and he's like, "Come on, you ready?" And I'm like, "I don't understand. Like, how you didn't even look at prices." He doesn't look at prices on anything. He doesn't look at expiration dates. Like I go through. a lot of things I look at expiration dates because a lot of stores just put whatever.
All right,
they want
now
on the shelves.
you just hit a nerve right there. That just scared me.
Right, and so I'm always looking at expiration dates. I do like check prices because sometimes, like, just because something's on sale doesn't mean it's the best buy. If you buy something larger or bulk, it's still going to be less than the sale price. Like, I'm like a math girl, so I look at all that stuff, and he just goes, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like,
again, Brenda White. I blame her.
You
want to know why? Because let me tell you about Brenda White. When this woman goes shopping, you can forget 4 hours of your life is gone. She's in there for 4 hours. And was that normal to you?
No, I don't go for 4 hours.
No. The mall, you're done for the whole day. You're there. Like, that's what you do for the day. And I remember being a kid, like, thinking about running away, like trying to attach to other families just to get out of the mall. You know what I mean? Like, oh man. And then if you get an attitude, you know what I mean? Like, you get this look in your face, like, well, now I don't want to go home because then something, you know, you get spanking. You just gotta, you know, and then of course, my mom and dad, like, everybody knew who they were. So not only are I'm trying to get out of the mall, but then they have friends that they see. Hey, girl, how you doing? And talking to the salespeople. And as a kid, I'm thinking like, oh, how do you fast forward to 25 so I can just have my own life and get out of here? You know what I mean? And then, of course, as a mischievous kid that I was, you know what you do? Since they want to stress you out, this is what they want to stress me out. I'm going to stress them out. I would hide in the clothes. My mom would look, I'm gone. And I'm like, and I would watch her just panic.
You were a little nightmare.
Yeah, it was.
I remember my aunt, I have a cousin named Jordan. And she, so much like my daughter's with me. And my daughter's Jaden. But my little cousin Jordan, my Aunt B, asked my cousin Betty and myself to go help her watch her while we were teenagers. And Jordan was about 7. And she said, can you come help watch Jordan while I shop? And we were like, yeah, sure. And we go, and no lie, both of us were in tears because Jordan was going like in the racks, climbing up the shelves, and we could not keep this child like. And I was like, no wonder she needs help watching her while she was shopping. Like, we could not keep her down. Like, both of us teenagers were crying because this child was so wild.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. You know, one of the things that I think about is, again, we also come from a different generation where, like, my mom could leave us in the car and go shopping. Like, do you understand
that all the time?
Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you like we've listened to a song that we wait to come on over. We actually knew when the radio stations were playing rotations, like sets of songs. You know what I mean? We knew that.
We could record it.
How will I know that it'd be Whitney Houston, then Lionel Richie, and then Luther Vandross, and then like some pop songs, something like that. That'd be the order. And we'd sing, wake up, go to sleep, sing, wake up, go to sleep, and then we cry, and then we're fussing a little bit. But no, it was funny. I would always be like, let's just go in there and say we got to use the bathroom.
I remember at one point when I was a teenager for quite a while, like it was on another radio station, and then there was also Delilah After Dark, but there was another radio station at every single night at midnight. The last song was either Everything I Do It For You, or You're the Inspiration.
You're
the last song played every single night.
You're my inspiration. I remember that. And I know. Yeah, that's too funny. Oh, and then on Saturday mornings, I used to get up. Now, my parents were really cool, man. I gotta tell you. Because my dad worked really hard, and sometimes he had to switch hours to make sure I was behaving in school. But you better believe, on Saturday morning, me and my little brother, we're gonna go downstairs. Me and my little brother and my sister go downstairs, and we're blasting the radio because we learned how to work the record player, and we were blasting the radio. We had a little record player on top, 2 tape discs, what are they called? tape decks,
Right.
and so and then they had the radio under it. Man, you couldn't tell me we were not top of the line, cream of the crop. We had that. Oh, it was just awesome. We were blasting this radio. Now, here's what's funny. Guess what we were jamming to? Now, only gangsters understand what I'm saying. Like, this is some real gangster
What
stuff
would
right
you
here.
jam into?
We were jamming to the Sesame Street soundtrack. Annie, and if you're a real thug, you understand what I'm talking about. Annie was super gangster, Sesame Street, Annie. Then we put on
Hard Not Life.
Thriller will be the next one,
Oh, I love Thriller.
and then
My mom used to put on her jazzercise outfit and do jazzercise to Thriller, and I would just go pretend like I was doing jazzercise with her when I was little.
Jazzercise. What else? There was one more. Thriller, Sesame Street, and Purple Rain. We had the Purple Rain albums and all that stuff. A couple Christmases ago, I got my dad a new record player, and you got yours dad a record player too.
Yeah.
But man, that was some cool stuff. Records actually made its way back, which is really cool. That was a good thing. The records made themselves back, dude. I gotta tell you,
they're still really expensive for the most part. Anything vintage like that usually is.
I used to love going to the record store. I used to love going to Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
See, man, that's what I mean about we're missing each other. And now we're talking about going into the metaverse. And I'm like, come on, man. We got to get back to, okay, so I don't even know I should do this, man. I don't know if I should tell everybody this, but I'm thinking about like opening up a place that's it's a restaurant / like club, no alcohol, of course, but it's called the 80s. The 80s. I'm really thinking about it. Now the idea would be it's a different genre in the 80s every day. You know what I mean?
It's okay. Every day I just wear big hair and bangle bracelets.
You can't get in unless
rubber bracelets all the way up, neon colors. Yeah.
The girls have these jelly shoes. Do you remember the
jellies? Yes, hi jellies.
Oh man, I will always think I was so awesome, and then I'll look at my kid picture and I'm like, that kid's not awesome. Whose kid is that?
Stonewashed everything.
Oh man, the corduroy jeans. I'll never get these brown corduroy jeans.
I had the stonewashed jean skirt and the stonewashed jean jacket that matched. I loved it.
Yeah. And see, but what's crazy is that, I remember being outside. Now, one thing you can't get in trouble for in my house is that you had a thing called play shoes. Like your school shoes and then your play shoes. Well, because I'm a go kind of guy, I was just like, they're shoes, put them on your feet, let's get it. Let's get it. But yeah, those play shoes, man.
I could see it with your mom.
I got in a lot of trouble behind just getting outside because it takes so long to take your shoes off and then put some other shoes on and go outside.
I remember when I know how your mom is like that. Like when I first met you guys, I took your kids to get their Easter out. It was the first year we were together, and Faith really wanted this white dress, and I thought she was old enough to take care of a white dress. She was like 11, I think, right? Yeah she was 11, and so I was like, okay, I would have gotten my daughter a white dress at 11, and so I got a white dress, and Faith loved it. It was the only dress she really liked, and she really fell in love with this dress.
My mom could care less.
Your mom was like, no, we're taking this back. You're not getting a white dress and everything. You're going to ruin that. You're going to get that dirty. You're not getting
I
a white
traumatized
dress.
my mom. I traumatized her. I'm just
it was the first time I ever had anybody question my parenting like that. And I was like heartbroken. I was like, oh my God.
I traumatized her. My mom didn't buy nothing white. I thought she didn't like white people.
So,
what it was.
When I went to buy a Hope that, real quick, I'll let you talk about when I went to get a Hope that Christmas outfit for her Christmas play that time. I made sure I got her all decked out in red and everything.
She looked like a clone, like a straight up doll, baby. You do it all. You were like red and But I'm just saying that white just never worked out. It was always these white Reeboks, the white Reebok classics. Just couldn't do it. I don't understand people who can keep white shoes clean. I don't know if I really trust them. I don't think they're giving life their all. Because if you can keep white shoes clean,
right? Oh, I've never been able to. I don't even try.
You're concentrating way too hard on just walking.
You saw what I did to those white and black shoes that you got me.
Oh, yeah, that'll never happen again.
What were they?
The not kids. Oh, come on.
Airwalks, right?
No, not Airwalks. Oh, not kids. It was from Journeys.
I have quite a few.
Oh man, I hope it's not happening.
We're losing it.
Are we old? That can't be true. Yeah, guys, if you need fashion tips, listen to me now. If you need fashion tips,
your fashion tip is to not listen to him now.
No. Listen, you guys, I'm telling you right now. Call Ann verbally. The number is 757-631-777. If we call up here, and if she answers, and you're struggling with your closet, Ann verbally is always Vans. That's what they were called, Vans. Listen, guys, I have never seen Ann verbally have a bad day on that fashion stuff.
Oh no.
Oh, she looks like a supermodel every time she walks out of the door. I'm talking about matched shoes. My brain, I can't figure. Well, somebody said, Duke, you've lost that muscle because you haven't worked it in 20 years. You've been wearing Coming Soon Jesus shirts. Possible. But the way
thanks to you, I've lost the muscle too.
You don't know how to dress anymore.
I used to always have nice clothes and nice everything. Now it's like I just wear Coming Soon Jesus everything too.
I have broken you.
Yeah. But yeah, and she wears, for those that are like, who's that? For those that don't know, she's the owner of the station. And
Nakia Miller
wears everything that matches, everything that goes, even her purses.
Purses match.
Right.
Like, she makes everything look so good. I don't know. We got to hire her as like a model for Coming Soon Jesus.
I know, right?
I mean, oh man, I get so mad when I see her sometimes.
Even
I'm like,
her makeup matches her hair.
I'm like, how do you do it? How do you do it? And we've been friends for decades, and I'm like, how do you do it? She's just like, she gets it. You know what I mean?
And then she's always like, this.
I'm like, you're slaying it right now.
I just woke up like this.
Exactly. She's like, I'm like, you say something. She's like, that's no big deal. I'm like, man, I don't know. I think my mom tried with me, and then of course, I don't think it helped that I joined the military because we know what I'm wearing in the military, the uniform, and so I think that's when it started. So it was easy for me to go into Coming Soon Jesus because I was already used to wearing a uniform all the time. Mm-hmm. So fashion, man, sometimes I wish I could have been cool, but my mom had me in school dressed like Theo Huxtable. Can you imagine trying to be gangster, like dressed like Theo Huxtable? You know what I mean?
You're so funny.
Yeah, it was rough. And then she had me. I had so many clothes that said Duke on them, and I did not realize. At first, I thought she was trying to make sure I focus on my education, funny. And then it was like, no, she's like.
Well, my problem was I could never leave the 80s. You
didn't.
I didn't graduate till 96, but I was still in the 80s. I was still wearing the, colorful skirts and even when I look back in my modeling pictures, I was in the 80s.
Yeah, I think my dad got rid of his jerry curl last year.
That's so funny.
No, he didn't.
I still have 80s hair now, kind of.
Oh, you do. But I do got to say something about the jerry curl. One of my earliest memory in life is me being a little kid, waking up, not knowing where I'm going. And I see trees, a fence, a green car, and my dad's holding me on his shoulder. Aww. And I look up and then I lay my head back down and my lips are numb from the jerry curl juice, from the hair in my dad's perm.
memories.
And I just went back to sleep. Like he's got a slob stain. I just slapped my face right back in the slob.
Oh, that's so
It was either slob or the juice from the
Well,
Jury Girl.
You know, my dad used to have, I have real long, thick red hair. My dad had red hair growing up. He had long, thick red hair too. But by the time I was growing, he was losing his hair and becoming bald. But he always had a beard, like a real thick red beard. Well, he decided one time without telling me that he was going to shave his beard. And I was about 4 years old.
Oh, no.
And I'll never forget this. He shaved his beard and then walked into the living room. And I remember my heart breaking because I was like, that is not the dad I know. And I remember the feeling of my heart was broken. And I cried and cried and cried. And he kept trying to hug me. And I just remember putting my head in a pillow and thinking like, I want my real dad back.
Oh, that's too funny.
And it was like, and everybody thought it was hilarious. Everybody was laughing. And I remember, like, I wasn't even being like, because I wasn't the type of child to just cry over nothing. Like,
I kind of felt that way when my dad went from the Jury Girl to the fade. I was just like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like,
yeah, like that. Because, you know,
you have a Jury Girl.
All this hair all over his face. And all of a sudden he's like hairless on his face. And I'm like, I've never seen my dad's face before. And I'm like, who is this?
If it was up to me, my dad would still have a Jury Girl today. Like
really?
Oh yeah, I would die. Like
I've seen the pictures of him.
That dude. I mean, this guy would be in the mirror, just you know what I mean. Just,
You're funny.
You know, and I couldn't wait to do that. I thought it was going to be something we did together.
Well, I wanted to tell you, listeners, I hope you enjoyed the interview we had with Abby Robertson earlier. She's such an amazing person. She really wants to come to the studio when she comes in town, or she either for Winter Jam or when she comes and visits her parents. She is a hometown girl. Monday, we're going to be airing our interview with Eddie. Good news.
He's with new song.
I'm losing my mind. I'm like, what am I talking about today here? Eddie Carswell from New Song. He founded New Song way back in 1981, and then he also, of course, is New Song founded Winter Jam.
Horrible promotion. You don't say way back in the 80s, like.
That's 31 years ago. 41 years ago. 41 years ago.
My
41
child.
years ago.
Oh, don't say it like that.
Way back.
It was just a few years ago.
Okay, yeah. He founded New Song like 3 years ago.
There you go.
In 1981.
There you go. That's my kind of math.
41 years ago. But anyway, and then we are also going to be interviewing one of Duke's favorites.
Yeah.
Who is it?
John Cooper.
John Cooper with Skillet.
I love the Skillet, the rock and roll. I'm a rock and roll guy. Hey, Crystal, the fact that I know when I was born and I said I'm turning 43, I don't know why that hurt me so bad when you said 81 is 40 years ago. Like and I'm 43, like I'm older than that, but it's just hearing it. Like, it's like, oh, like I want to sit on my mom's couch right now in my drawers like a little kid and watch Ghostbusters over and over again. My parents had a big TV. They were never able to watch anything. I was watching Ninja Turtles, He-Man, and Ghostbusters.
Can I say something?
What's that?
You were so spoiled rotten by your mama. I'm sure she'd let you.
It's true.
Just go do it.
Just go do it. You don't understand. 40 years ago, if you had to choose between 80s and 90s, what would it be?
Oh, 80s, by far. Like, not even a question. Like, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know.
80s to me, I love everything 80s.
I don't know, because in the 80s, it's like you got He-Man, and then in the 90s, you got Wu-Tang. So it's a struggle between He-Man and Wu-Tang in my life. For all my white people out there who don't know Wu-Tang, don't look it up. Don't look it up. You'll be like, what? Don't look it up. But no, seriously. She-Ra. Oh my gosh, that's when things started going downhill. Politically correct stuff. No, He-Man was like, you know.
But my favorite was Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just. But you know what's really weird though about all the past and all that nostalgia stuff? Like what's really crazy about it all is when you go back and look and see how bad everything actually was. You know, it was like what we had, but it's like, hey man, I think this is a horrible song. This is not good writing.
Yeah, well, when you look at like the technology we have
Yeah,
now,
the technology.
like when I go back and look at Inspector Gadget cartoons, and I'm like, I thought it was so cool, and then I look at the technology, and I'm like, oh, that was really old, and then but it was so cool though, it really was.
Yeah, it really was good. But right now we're stuck in like here we are in 2021, and all the old stuff's coming back. But it's like, so I guess, but we got to wait to our 80s. So we're in the 80s to actually see something new because right now they're just redoing all the stuff we grew up with, which is crazy.
Well,
you know what I'd like to see? I think they already done it though. I was gonna say I'd like to see a remake of the Ten Commandments.
oh
You know what I mean? Like, but with that whole Charleston Heston vibe.
yeah,
You know, and maybe some black people in it.
yeah, right.
You know, I can't believe I grew up.
Historically accurate.
I grew up with Jesus being white. Cleopatra was white. You know what I mean? But Moses was white. The Native Americans were white. I think the Native Americans, they just had a nice tan. You know what I mean? I think they were white people with nice tans. Like, oh man,
That's so funny.
white people, it's all time now.
Well, there was a time when even on the stage, the women were men because women couldn't.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly right. That's how the weirdness slipped in there, probably. But that's crazy. You know what I mean? That there's matter of fact, Sidney Poitier just passed away. Do you know that he has like the first footage? There's the footage of a black man striking a white man on screen. That's you know the first time, and I watch it over and over again. I'm kidding, people. Kinda, you'll never know. But the point is that you know I do believe we've come a long way. When I hear people say, "Let's get back to the good old days," right? I gotta tell you, I'm not offended by that because I know that racial issues and stuff was going on. But all I do know is that everything we just talked about, we laughed more, we enjoyed life more, we were united. I don't care. I was there. I saw the unity. And then
yeah, like I think like people got so mad about the Make America Great Again thing. And I think well, I know it's all about let's go back to buying American made. Let's go back to supporting the farmer. Let's go back to making our own food. Let's go back to really supporting each other. Let's go back to Christian values. You know,
that's what I hear. That's what
it's not even that is what that meant 100%. And it really isn't about at all like 0% about.
Let's get back to love, people. We had a great time with you guys today. We're out of time. We love you guys so much, and please, like I said, you know, rest in peace to my good friend Eric. I had my boo-hoos last night and a little bit this morning, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna choose joy, and I'm so glad I didn't shut down and say I'm not coming in or I'm not doing this. But
remember that what you do with somebody's death is how you honor them.
Yeah,
God will use you in somebody's death. It always happens.
So rest in peace, Eric Bachmeyer. We love you, man. I love your family, and so
remember John will be in it too today.
Yeah, and also remember to support Current FM. Yes. We're here for you guys. We're here to rock you out with some great music, and of course, Ann verbally is going to teach you how to dress. Make sure you guys call her. We
should have her put her outfit of the day.
Yes,
on
outfit of the day. I demand. I will not do another show unless she agrees to do an outfit of the day. So that's that. But fashion with Ann verbally. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. All right, we're out of time, guys. We love you.
That's funny. All right, we got to get prepared for some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we can take the kids to the mall really fast.
You guys think it's a joke and can dress. All right, we're out of here, guys. We got to take the kids to the mall, like she said. We have to do whatever she says. That's how it goes. Whatever, man.
That's what Jesus said.